shrimp people, welcome back to Shrimp Life. Today I'm going to talk about how much to feed your shrimp and when to feed them, how often, and all that good stuff. So basically, this is going to be a short video because it's a really short and simple answer. The answer is, how many shrimp do you have in your tank? And then I'll talk about some other little factors that may contribute to that as well. So when you first get a shrimp tank going, you've set up your tank, you're maturing it, you've cycled it, and by the time you add your first 10 shrimp to that tank, there's quite a bit of biofilm on the surfaces of your aquarium. And biofilm is a natural food source for shrimp, and so when you start to, give them food, you may notice, hey, why aren't they eating their food? Like, I spent $20 on this food and they do not want it. What the heck? Does this food suck or what? Well, no, the food doesn't suck. What's happening is the shrimp are just satisfied with all of what they're eating in the tank. They're good. They don't need anything else. So for me, when I set up a new tank and I add new shrimp to it, I don't even feed them for like a week or two. I don't. If you observe your shrimp closely, you will see them going around the tank and grazing on everything. And what they're grazing on is a lot of the time biofilm and other things. So definitely biofilm is a great source of food for them. But as your colony grows, as they start to have babies, and 10 shrimp turns into 20, 30, 40, 100 shrimp, biofilm becomes more scarce. It's not available for the shrimp as much as they're eating it. So think about grass growing and cows grazing on grass. The cows are grazing on the grass. If there's a couple cows eating the grass, well, the grass has time to grow and replenish. But if you got like 100 cows eating a small patch of grass, they're eating it faster than it can grow. So that's when we're adding foods to the tank. I highly recommend, using a feeding dish at first if you're not sure, because a feeding dish allows you to really easily remove uneaten food. Anything that's not eaten within 2 hours, you should take it out of your tank. The only exception to this is really if you're using a food like snowflake food. That's a great food that you can actually leave in the tank, and that's what the shrimp are eating here right now. This is compressed soybean hulls, and it's a great food because the shrimp will have a constant food source and constantly come back to it. Even if you leave it in the tank for a couple days, it's not going to do anything to your water or anything like that. It's not going to cause any issues. I've been using this food for 10 years basically, as long as I've been keeping shrimp. So I can tell you with high confidence that it's a great food for leaving in the tank. However, other foods, pelletized foods, anything that's not snowflake food or like a mulberry leaf, you should remove it. It can cause some issues, bacterial bloom, explosion of detritus worms. Well, detritus worms are not dangerous, but when there's so many of them, it's a sign that you're overfeeding, and overfeeding is never good for the tank. If anything, slightly underfeeding is better because you can always adjust from underfeeding with ease. If you're underfeeding, the shrimp ate all the food, you can easily just add another little tiny piece of food in there. Very, very simple and easy to do. And as you get babies in the tank, you can modify a little bit. You can use things like bee pollen granules, powdered food. I like to use these in very small amounts. Remember, shrimp are really little, and you don't need to feed a lot, just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. Also, biofilm is present, and when you have moss and things like that in your tank, little food particles from previous feedings, biofilm and stuff like that is in the moss. So babies definitely will benefit from you having natural plants and mosses in your tank, having floating plants with very intricate root structures where food and particles also grow. You'll find babies on there. So yeah, that's about it. I think I've covered most of what I wanted to say today. These are my black rose shrimp. I actually started another tank for them, so they'll be having 2 dedicated black rose tanks. They are finally, reproducing again. They slowed down during the winter a little bit, but as you can see, there's quite a few buried mamas and babies going on now, and I'm really happy about that. So yeah, when it comes to feeding shrimp, don't be worried if they're not eating this expensive, beautiful food that you bought. They're definitely going to get to it eventually as the colony grows, as they start to deplete the biofilm in the tank, you'll definitely notice an increase in their, their eagerness to eat the foods that you offer them. So that's it for today, shrimp people. Hope you guys are having a beautiful day. It's a beautiful day out here in Canada. We're supposed to have rain for the next couple days, so I gotta get outside, gotta do some yard work and gardening, and I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.